If it's that time of year, fresh tomatoes, sliced fresh tomatoes would go good with this. Or if you really want to take the time to roast some cherry tomatoes, I think that would go good with this. But you'll probably put some hot sauce or something like that on it.
Yeah, that chili sauce.
Yeah, chili sauce would be good.
Yeah.
Because I think that's got a little spice. So if you want, you can just add a little more cheese to it. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of fresh parsley on it. And I think we're ready to go. Are you ready, babe?
I'm ready to go.
Well, hey, welcome back. This is Amy Roloff, and I'm in my little kitchen. And I just realized I don't have an apron on. In fact, I probably should take off this flannel shirt while I'm doing all this prep. So I think that's what I'm gonna go do. Okay, I'm back. Oh my goodness. As you guys all know, I love wearing aprons. So it is a gorgeous Saturday morning here. Well, let's put it this way. It's probably more brunch time. So Chris and I just kind of slept in. It was one of those days, getting up early during the week. And I don't know. I just felt like making like a hash brown egg casserole. I know there are so many different kinds of recipes out there. And this is really a dish, a casserole dish that you can feed a lot of people, or you just decrease your ingredients and make it for a few. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm making this, going through a lot of work just for Chris and I, but frankly, I think we're worth it. And I don't mind spending the time to do this, a lot of the prep work, because I don't know, I like to eat, I like to cook, I like to make things. So gorgeous Saturday morning. We're just having a relaxing day before we get to whatever we want to do. And I'm really hoping that I find a new trail or go a little farther so Felix and I can go for a walk while Chris makes the last few days at his house moving in. So anyway, let's get going. I've got some sharp cheddar cheese, mild cheddar cheese, any kind of cheese that really melts well will work well with this dish. So I grated some sharp cheddar cheese. Since it's only for the 4 of us, this is probably at least, got some potato peel in here. This is, don't want that, I don't know why. It's all going into the same thing. This is probably about a cup and a half. I might need more depending on how much cheese you want. I'm gonna use 5 eggs, and I'm gonna use about a half a cup of milk with a little bit of heavy whipping cream. I think that'll make it more of like a custard type of egg casserole dish. I didn't have any red pepper. I wish I would have had some red pepper. I'm kind of bummed about that, but you know what? Just go in your fridge and use what you have. Chris is not a fan of onions, but I like a little bit of onions in this dish, so this is probably only about a 1/3 cup of onions. And like I said, use a little bit more egg, use a little bit more milk and cream, add in a few more potatoes, green pepper, red onions, whatever you want to do in order to make it so that you can feed a lot more people than 4. And since I didn't have red pepper, I thought, okay, we love mushrooms. I'm gonna saute these mushrooms a little bit in a saute pan, but the one thing I'm not gonna do is add salt to this, because salt draws out the water, and I don't want that. I don't need a lot more moisture in this. So I'm really gonna do a dry sauteed of the mushroom, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of garlic in it to create some flavor that way. And then I probably just have about a 1/3 of a green pepper mixed in here too. And you can really make this well, I guess using eggs isn't really a vegetarian dish. But if you want to make it meatless, you don't have to add any meat. But if you do bacon, make sure your bacon isn't crispy, because I don't know, that I like it a little bit softer when you're making this kind of casserole dish. Or you can use leftover ham or something of that sort. Today I had a little bit of leftover Italian sausage. So So that's what I'm doing. So let's get going. I'm going to saute the mushrooms a little bit, and then I'll do the onion and green pepper just a little bit, just to take out that raw flavor. And I don't want these vegetables to be so crunchy, even though you're gonna put this dish in the oven for probably about an hour. But anyway, that's what I wanna do. So, well, let's go back to the stove and let's start sauteing. Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it, and I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there, and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know, and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you, and back to the video. Okay, we're at the stove. I just got done sauteing the Italian sausage right here. So what I'm going to do, and this Italian sausage I got at my local meat market, which is so great because it's all local farmers, and whether it be poultry, whether it be pork, whether it be beef. So I really like going there. And it is a little bit more expensive, but I tell you, there's nothing like understanding where your meat's coming from with some of the local farmers around where I live. Anyway, even in the neighborhood, I'm on the edge of Hillsboro, so I just go like maybe 5 minutes and I'm in farm area. Anyway, this is all done. So what I'm gonna do here is put it on some paper towels so some of the oil can drain off and soak that out. Because, you know, I don't need that in this egg dish, of course. And you just wanna pat it down a little bit and then help it drain. See, just like that. Put that over there. I'm gonna bring this pan over here. And like I said, I'm going to turn up my heat a little bit. And I am just going to saute this dry, the mushrooms and the garlic. I don't want the mushrooms to be wet for this egg dish. And normally what I would do too, if I wasn't going to saute the mushrooms, because this is an egg custard dish and I want the eggs to adhere to a lot of the vegetables, especially if you don't cook them, I will just dust them with a little bit of flour. That way the egg has something to hang on to, instead of just sliding off. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and saute these onions and green pepper a little bit too. I was going to cook it in the sausage grease, but I don't know, I decided not to, so I'm just going to wipe it down here. A little bit of paper towel. Just a dab of olive oil over here. I'm just going to saute this, so I got two things going. Oh, and the other thing, I don't cut onions in front of you guys because you know what? My eyes, I mean, they're probably bloodshot right now because onions kind of have that burning sensation, or they sting, and I get so teary-eyed, and I've got makeup, you know, running down my face. I'm like, oh, brothers. I think I already mentioned this. I'm not going to add salt to this because I don't want the water content in the mushrooms to have the mushrooms become too wet. So yeah, see, I'm just gonna saute this a little bit. Just to soften up the onions and the green pepper a little bit without cooking them totally. I just want to get a little bit of that raw taste out and a little bit of that crunch. So I'm just gonna let this cook for a little bit and we'll get our eggs ready. so I've got my 5 eggs. I'm just gonna set my eggs in here for a minute. And then I love the peel on these potatoes. If I was using russet potatoes, I wouldn't leave the peel on. But a white potato or a gold potato or Yukon, I think it's okay to leave the peel on. But if you don't want the peel, just peel your potatoes. I think I'm going to, you know, I think I'm going to get my other grater. I'll be back. Since Chris often cleans up after me, I use this grater. I've got to find a more sturdier one. I use this grater for the cheese because it's easier to clean instead of trying to get your hand in here. But I think this will work for the potatoes. I didn't do the potatoes ahead of time for you guys because I didn't want the potatoes to brown and I didn't want to add something to that. And right now I'm debating whether to brown these a little bit before I make this casserole. That's an extra step you'll have to do, but you don't need to. You know, an easier way to do this is frozen hash browns in your local grocer. And just realize that there's going to be some water content in there. So maybe just let it defrost a little bit and try and squeeze as much water out of it as you can. And the same a little bit for this one too, when you're using fresh potatoes. I don't know, there's just something therapeutic to me doing it kind of like all by hand. I don't know. Sometimes I think I was born in the wrong period, even though it would have been a hard life 100 years or more ago. Okay. I'm thinking I need 4 potatoes, yeah. Okay, this is gonna take a while, so when I get this done, we'll get the eggs going and then we'll assemble the hash brown egg casserole. If you want an arm workout, I think this will do it. See, you can make something you really enjoy and get a little bit of exercise as well. I just gotta make sure I don't grate my thumb or my fingers. And yes, I know there's a food processor out there too, but like I said, sometimes for me, I have to climb up the step ladder in my pantry, get the food processor out, climb back down. Sometimes it's a hassle and I don't bother with it, so I'm gonna give my other arm a workout. Sometimes I don't hassle with it, and I'd rather just do this. So potato number 2. I think we're definitely gonna need 3. So when I'm done with this, we'll get our eggs going and assemble our casserole. Okay, I decided to just crisp up my hash browns a little bit. And how I did that, I didn't add any salt, I didn't add any butter or olive oil. And before putting in a very hot pan, I tried to squeeze out as much water as I could from the potatoes. And I just wanted to brown them just a little bit, see? I don't want to brown them all the way. But here, let me bring this over to you guys. I just wanted to brown it a little bit, so I think these are done. This only, if you're in a very hot pan, this will only take maybe about 5 minutes. Okay, that's done. I'm gonna turn off my heat, if I can get my thing to work. And let's go. Hopefully I didn't do that too wavy for you guys. Now let's crack our eggs and assemble the egg hash brown casserole. Okay, I've got my little dish here. You can do it in a square. You can do it, I think, in any kind of, you know, baking dish. I just thought this was kind of small enough and 4 people. That way Chris and I can have leftovers. I'm gonna lightly just butter this baking dish so that, you know, the egg and everything doesn't stick to it. Hang on, I need some more butter. I just put a little bit on my hands. I know this might seem like it's taken up a lot of time, but it may be because I'm doing the video. There we go. I think that's all done. Get some paper towel to wipe off my hand. Okay, I need a fork to whip up these eggs. So basically, this is kind of like a custard. Let me crack this last one in here. When I lived on the farm, and sometimes I would get the chicken eggs, you know, because we had a little chicken coop on the farm there. I don't do it so much from store-bought eggs, and I try and get either organic, cage-free, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, when I would crack an egg from the chickens on our farm, I would usually do it in a separate bowl because, you know, sometimes it wouldn't be so great and I would have to throw it out. Okay, let's get a little bit of our liquid in here. What did I say? About a 1/2 cup? Just gonna measure this. Because really, basically what you're doing is kind of a custard. I think I put in a tablespoon too much. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle about 2 tablespoons or something like that of heavy whipping cream. Just to give it that little extra creaminess. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper on this because I haven't really added any salt and pepper in anything else because I know the Italian sausage has a little bit salt in it, and you know, I definitely don't want this to be over salted. If you don't want black pepper flakes if you don't want black pepper floating around in your egg mixture, feel free to use white pepper. So just a little bit of salt. That'll be good. A little pepper. Give it some flavor. Okay, this is gonna be poured over everything. Just gonna set that aside. So the first thing to do, got my cheese still here, is I am going to scoop. I tell you, for my short arms and my wrists, these pans are heavy. And just kind of mash this up a little bit. I hope I got enough potatoes in here. I think I do, but I'm so glad I buttered it. Okay. Okay, I've got my egg mixture here. Just gonna use the fork that was, or I should say I got my hash browns here. Just gonna loosen these up a little bit because I think I patted it down too much. So there we go. Yeah, I think I got everything. I thought I forgot something. Okay, we're gonna, in the sausage, we're gonna mix in the mushrooms and a little bit of garlic that we did. Now, because potatoes, I don't know, are very good, but kind of bland, I'm gonna put in the green pepper and the onions in my sausage mixture. I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of salt over the potatoes. Not too much. And a little bit of pepper. Just so the potatoes have a little bit of seasonings and flavor too. And because I'm using Italian sausage, you can go ahead if you want a little more spices or herbs to it. Add a little bit more garlic powder or Italian seasonings. you know, that'll go well to it, with it as well. Okay, so I'm gonna just stir this up a little bit. Then I'm just gonna sprinkle it over on top. Make sure I get all of that goodness in there. Make sure it's evenly placed. Kind of get in there with the potatoes. Making sure that they're all friends. And not just a bunch of separate things joining the party. Okay. Got my egg mixture. Stir that up a little bit. Oh, this is what I'm gonna do too. I'm gonna do a little bit of cheese. Hang on here. I don't know, I probably have like a cup and a half of cheese. Probably a little bit too much cheese, so I'm definitely not gonna use all of this. But you know, we want it a little cheesy. So I would say maybe about a half a cup. Because the cheese will have a little bit of salt in it as well. Okay, and then we're just gonna slowly pour this over the top. So here we go. Just gonna make sure the egg mixture gets all down in there. Okay, I've got the oven set at 375, so this will cook anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Just put a toothpick or a very sharp knife, and if there's no egg or anything like that left on the knife, then you know it's done. But depending on your oven, I would go like 45 to 60 minutes, depends. So, egg hash brown casserole is going in the oven. So I'll see you in about an hour. And you can find this recipe at amyroloffslittlekitchen.com, or definitely go to my YouTube channel, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, and you'll find this recipe, directions. So if I get anything wrong in the video, follow the directions and let me know what you think. Okay, we're back 45 minutes later. It took a little less time for the hash brown egg casserole. And I think one of the reasons is because I did not have it in a deep dish. And I think that obviously will take a little more time. So I hopefully Chris is hungry. So let me get it out. Okay, look at this. I think it's gonna look delicious. Hi Chris, hi Dave.
What smells so good?
Well, I hope it's good. If I took some time while this was baking, I would have had like biscuits with this, because I think that would complement this really well. And like I said, this is great if you're having a lot of people. I kind of made it small enough for you and I, but we'll definitely have leftovers for tomorrow.
We'll definitely have leftovers.
So anyway, I probably could have made it a little bit smaller. But if it's that time of year, fresh tomatoes, sliced fresh tomatoes would go good with this. Or if you really want to take the time to roast some cherry tomatoes, I think that would go good with this. But you'll probably put some hot sauce or something like that on it.
Yeah, that chili sauce.
Yeah, chili sauce would be good.
Yeah.
Because I think that's got a little spice. So if you want, you know, you can just add a little more cheese to it. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of fresh parsley on it. And I think we're ready to go. Are you ready, babe?
I'm ready to go. Looks great. Looks great.